Good evening, horrors. Um, Last night, actually, it was more like yesterday afternoon. I came home and my pet lizard was dead. I had a pet lizard who was very old. It was a leopard gecko, to be specific, and she died yesterday. Um, she died of old age, although for a while my mom thought that she died of starvation because she thought that I was neglecting her. Although I have a second lizard that was clearly very healthy and is still very much alive as he is quite young. So she thought that I was neglecting one lizard, yet could still clearly see that the other one was being taken care of. So the logic didn't make much sense unless she thought that I specifically preferred one lizard over the other. Anyway, the older one died last night. And the thing is, flashback to a few, I don't think multiple weeks ago, but like within the last 3 weeks, something like that. I don't know. Um, she there was this time where like the older lizard was clearly in very, very bad health, and she wanted to help it. So, like, her reaction was completely hysterical, um, in a bad way. Not funny hysterical, like insane, completely over the top and very stressful and not focused at all. Um, she was trying to feed the lizard, but it wasn't eating because when lizards are very cold, when when they're very cold, they just refuse to eat. So she was trying to give it worms, um, but it wasn't eating. What she didn't listen to, which I was telling her, but she didn't listen, is that had already been happening for a while, and yet I was still being blamed for starving a lizard that was refusing to eat all the time. Like, I would put a worm, and they eat worms, by the way, so I would put a worm right in front of the older lizard's face, and she would bite it sometime. No, actually, I'll take that back. She wouldn't even bite it. She would kind of run away from it, and that happened a lot. And anyway, that very night when my mom was freaking out because it was clearly not doing well, like, I had to calm her down by spraying her in the face with a squirt bottle. And she took that very personally, and because of that, I don't have internet for a week. And this is day 4 of that week, I'm pretty sure. So, the thing is, that night that my mom was freaking out, she decided to. She thought it would be a merciful killing, if you will, a sort of like kind euthanasia or whatever. I forget. Is that the right word? Euthanasia. It's a weird word, isn't it? I get confused about that. Um, I mix it up with anesthesia, which are two different things. But anyway, I'm just having a smoke. Don't mind me. Just smoking away. So, like, what was I trying to say? I'm trying to think. My hand's shaking a bit. Does that a lot. So, yes, right, okay. So she thought she should have to kill the lizard because she thought that that was the right thing to do. So, she was going to put it out in the cold because it was a very cold night, and she wanted to put it outside so it would freeze to death. And I was like, whoa, wait a fucking second. Let me look up on the internet a reason why a lizard would refuse to eat, which was the actual issue at hand. and it said, because they're cold. Okay? So I was like, don't fucking put the lizard out there in the cold. Bring it inside, or whatever. I mean, she hadn't yet taken it out, but it was like, don't do that. Give me my fucking lizard. And so, she did, and, I was able to keep it comfortable and warm enough in the succeeding days. I'm pretty sure I'm using the word right. Succeeding, I don't know. What do I know about succeeding, man? I've never succeeded in my life, man. Squaw. I'm literally squawing over here, man. Can you see this squaw, the squim, and the squelch? Witness it. Anyway, so, like, in the succeeding days, I was able to fucking take care of it enough that I could give it its last worm. It could finally eat one last worm before it died of old age, because it was extremely old, like at least 13, if not older, which is very old for a leopard gecko. It was a leopard gecko, by the way. So, so it finally got to eat one last time, and then it died last night. And after that happened, I said to my mother, since my lizard is dead, can I have the Wi-Fi password? And she was like, no, that has nothing to do with it. And I was like, what? Why did you do that then? Take the Wi-Fi password? And she was like, 'cause you sprayed me in the face with a squirt bottle. And I was like, you do that to the cats all the time. And she was like, well, they can't speak English. Like that's even relevant at all. You know, like that's a measure of worth of any kind. I might also talk about a time when my bird died. When I was 11, I had a pet bird. It was a little parakeet. I was already extremely horribly depressed at the time, absolutely in a terrible place mentally. And this little white bird I had, this little parakeet, was a sort of comfort at the time. Something that I had that would make me happy. And after about a week, I left the door unlocked in my bedroom, and the other pets in our house came in and killed it. And my mother completely blamed me for that. Because I didn't close the door properly, it was entirely my fault that happened. And so she put the dead bird on my bed, and there was a note next to it about what to do with it. Like, I had to bury it, and I also had to do some chores, and I think she took my computer. I can't remember all the punishments, but I was so angry that I twisted its head off. That is true. It was already dead, but I wanted to feel powerful. It was the truest thing I could do at the time, because I did feel like a monster. I did indeed feel like an evil person. So I believed it, I took it at face value, and I'd already been taking it at face value before. Like, I completely at the time thought of myself as worthless, and therefore, violent and angry. And that was my reaction to all of those emotions at 11 years old. Remember. So, that's cool. That's super cool, in fact. It is super tough and awesome that is who I was at the time. It's super duper fucking, like, lit and fucking fire, and It's fucking it's awesome, isn't it? It's really cool. God bless.